Secretary of State Antony Blinken's testimony raising a lot of red flags over the botched U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan. He admitted some mistakes were made, but also blamed the previous administration. So, will countries like China, Russia, and Iran now use this chaotic exit and instability for their own political gain? Joining us now to discuss, Gordon Chang. He's the author of The Coming Collapse of China. Gordon, welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us today. I'd like to play for you a quick soundbite from Senator Marco Rubio during Blinken's testimony yesterday, and then I'll get your reaction. Here's the senator.
The fact of the matter is, where it leaves us now, on top of all the other things that have been mentioned here from a geopolitical perspective, is not a good place. I think China and Russia and Iran, they look at this botched withdrawal, and what they see is incompetence that they think they might be able to exploit, may lead to miscalculation.
Gordon, is he correct? How are our adversaries viewing us?
Yeah, Senator Rubio is correct. We know that China is emboldened. They've been engaging in, for instance, these near constant air incursions into Taiwan's air defense identification zone. We have seen their more hostile behavior in the region. And what was interesting, when Biden called Xi Jinping, the Chinese ruler, on Thursday, and Biden proposed an in-person summit, the Chinese leader said, basically, I don't have to talk to you. He wasn't interested in talking to the president of the United States. That's astounding. The real problem here is that if there's going to be a problem in East Asia, I think the Russians and the Iranians are going to take advantage of it. We could see crises at both ends of the Eurasian landmass. This could be war across the landmass, and that means perhaps the beginning of the next global conflict.
We would hope it would never get to that point. But I want to ask you about this new reporting that China's offering $31 million in emergency aid to Afghanistan. Again, giving their financial resources to now the government in Afghanistan, which is run by the Taliban. What does this say about their relationship?
Well, the relationship between Beijing and the Taliban goes back before 9/11. And indeed, China was helping the Taliban kill Americans and NATO forces during the insurgency. So we shouldn't be surprised that China is the first to rush in with assistance to the group. And I think that we are seeing China support the Taliban in diplomatic councils. For instance, the UN Security Council, along with Russia, they were very much on the Taliban side. This is going to be a long-term problem for the United States, because if we're going to try to have some enduring peace in Central Asia, we know that the Chinese and the Russians will be opposing us.
I want to also talk to you about reports North Korea today firing not one but two ballistic missiles, just days after it fired new long-range cruise missiles. What does this tell us about possible launches we could see? How much of a threat is North Korea and, quite frankly, their firepower at this point?
Well, during this long period where there was a hiatus in testing, the North Koreans were busy improving their missiles and their nukes, and they've never stopped on this. Now, they needed to test in order to verify their designs, make sure that they felt that they were going in the right direction. And North Korea is steadily becoming more dangerous, and it will continue to do this until the United States starts imposing real costs, not just on North Korea, but also on the North's friends, and that includes China, because China has been increasingly violating UN sanctions with its assistance to the North. And the Chinese have been very open about this, very sort of say, well, we're going to do this, and what are you going to do about it? And the response from the U.S. is, we're not going to do anything about it. So, of course, the North Koreans feel they can do whatever they want, including firing ballistic missiles, which is a violation of UN Security Council rules.
Final question for you, Gordon. You were talking about President Biden's conversation with Chinese officials. It didn't seem like they wanted to engage with the president. How does that impact the ongoing investigation into the origins of the coronavirus? The fact that President Biden's own committee to investigate it said the results were inconclusive based on the fact that China wasn't really participating.
Yes, well, when Biden had his first phone call with Xi Jinping, the 2 hours in February, Biden didn't raise the issue even once. We don't know whether he raised it on Thursday, but we don't need perfect information, Emma, because we already have enough information to impose those costs on China. And we need to do so to establish deterrence so China will not spread the next pathogen, because the next pathogen could leave China immune and sicken and kill everybody else. China's been working on these, quote, specific ethnic genetic attacks, and we're not stopping them.
Yeah, and again, no word of accountability as well. You think of all the lives lost, financial loss as well from the COVID pandemic. Gordon Chang joining us live on the program. Gordon, thank you very much.
Thank you, Emma.
Hi, Emma Reckenberg here. If you like this video, there's a whole lot more to see on Newsmax TV. You can watch for free right here on our YouTube live stream and be the first one here each time our experts break down real news. Just hit that subscribe button, ring the bell icon, and stay with us on America's fastest growing cable news channel, Newsmax TV.